Hello, my name is Last John of Mystery Man. This is my eighth ever Bold and the Beautiful review for the episode that aired on Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. So, getting into this episode, it was okay, I guess. It was not the most exciting episode I've ever seen in my life. It also wasn't the absolute worst episode I've ever seen. So it was somewhere kind of in the middle where some stuff happened, but a lot of stuff really didn't matter. And somehow they have made Thomas even more hateable now, which I did not think was possible. But somehow I just see every episode he's in, I just seem to hate him more and more. I did not think that was possible after 2019, but somehow Brad Bell has found a way. He keeps writing Thomas to be the most hateable man in the world. I did not think that was possible. I thought that honor went to Simon Cowell. Yeah, Simon Cowell, but apparently not. But anyways, getting into this episode. So what is it? So what happened today? I mean, there was a few conversations, a few people, a few. Finn was on, so I always like Finn. He's pretty cool, I guess. Also we find out what he's in on the is Thomas a good guy or a bad guy? Equation and team. We know what team he's on now, so good for him. So anyways, getting into this episode, it opens up with I guess Steffi and Finn, and they're kissing. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Honestly, some of the stuff that Steffi and Finn do on this show could technically be considered porn in most cases, or at least close to the beginning stages of porn. I'm just saying. Just saying, some of the stuff they do does not seem like it is appropriate. Does not seem like it is appropriate for television because it could go somewhere that we do not need to go at any point on this program. Just saying, but other than that, I like Finn and they're kissing, I guess, and then we jump cut to Thomas. I'm like, oh yippee, Thomas is back! Yay, 2 episodes with this guy. Yippee, 2 episodes with the most hated guy with the most hateable guy in America right now. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The most hateable guy on television right now. He really is the most hateable guy on television right now for me. So they're talking about, I'm assuming, something to do with Hope, or maybe no, actually they're talking about RJ. So it was actually nice because for once we didn't have to hear Thomas talk about Hope for once. It was actually pretty refreshing, honestly. It's like, finally, dude, there is other people in the world. It's called everyone else in the world has moved on with their life, and you, for some reason, are still fixated on Hope with your obsession with her. So anyway, they're talking, and I think they literally had yesterday's conversation, but in a new, different way, because Thomas is like, hey, Taylor. I guess he said mom, but I don't want to say that because that's weird, and I would never call that because I ain't being disrespectful. So anyway, hey, Taylor. What do you think what do you think of RJ being back as he's the only child that Widge and Brooke has together? What do you think about this, Taylor? How do you feel? And she's like, she literally says this. I believe that this is going to get them back together. That's what she said. I'm not even making that up. Thomas asked, hey, Taylor, do you think RJ being back is going to get Brooke and Widge to get back together? And Taylor literally says, yes, I do. So even she believes it now. Apparently, even she gets it. I still don't like Taylor. I will most likely never like Taylor again unless they bring back Hunter, still can't say her last name, or if they find another actress who is not who do not act like a 5-year-old child who didn't turn 15 and discovered boys for the first time in her life. Maybe then we'll talk. But then we cut back to RJ, and I don't know what exactly was going on here, but Widge is still somehow talking about the whole, you need to be a designer now, which I'm pretty sure is foreshadowing for a lot of stuff coming up in the future, So other than that, they're talking, Hope comes off as so likable whenever she's not interacting with Thomas. I'm sorry. It's just, whenever she's not around Thomas, she comes off as one of the most nice, respective people you will ever meet in your life. She comes off as so nice when she's not around Thomas. She comes off as a much nicer person to be around. Honestly, she doesn't come off as a victim of emotional abuse. I'm sorry, she doesn't. That's just how I feel. I just don't see it, and I will never see it. I don't see a connection. I don't see a friendship. I don't see two parents. I see two people who should not be in each other's lives due to many reasons. I'm sorry, that's just what I see. But then Liam shows up, and Liam is still, still not exactly happy about the guy who told him that his daughter was dead for months, and it was a good thing that that's what Thomas said, is trying to still creep around his wife. At least up until the last part of this episode, which I'll get to, which I think might have a lot to do with tomorrow's episode that we get when Wyatt returns. So they're talking, and Liam's like, "Well, I still don't trust your stupid psychotic brother." Sophie's like, "Well, I think you've changed." And then Finn comes in. Well, I didn't believe it either. Honestly, Liam, I didn't believe this bullshit either. I looked at Finn's like, I didn't believe it either. But I gotta do it because I do whatever Sophie tells me. You was once married to her. And back in 2015, 2016, 2017, Steffi was awesome. But it's just that her character was literally destroyed in 2018, that she can never be redeemed. She can never be redeemed in my eyes because of what she did. Because her sleeping with Bill made 0 sense in the world. Why would she have done that? Why, people? Why did Steffi sleep with Bill? For one reason. Well, because Brad Bill brought back hope. So anyways, getting away from that, they're talking. So now Finn is also on team Thomas is a piece of shit. So welcome, Finn. Glad to have you here. We all figured you was going to be on our side. I mean, he never said that he liked Thomas. He said that he only agreed to back off and not. He only agreed to agree with Steffi because she was his wife. That's literally what he said. So anybody who thinks Finn is on team Thomas, clearly you're wrong. So other than that, then we cut back to then Finn leaves, which apparently I really hope is not setting up the Steffi gets lonely and tries to seek comfort in Liam, because we do not need to do that again, because that couple died in 2017. That couple died in 2017. Well, more specifically, that couple died in 2018. And I really do not feel like having to watch those two people try to be a couple again, because I didn't enjoy it I didn't enjoy it in 2021 or 2019, which was just creepy as hell. I'm sorry, that was creepy. That whole year of 2019 was creepy. There's ever been a year of a soap opera that should be just forgotten, just not be canon anymore, and just be forgotten and pretend like never happened? Probably Bold and the Beautiful in 2019, which might make me sound like a massive hypocrite because I keep bringing it up as many times as often as I can, because it ruined this program, honestly. But they're talking, and then we cut back to Thomas, who has a conversation with his mom that I can only describe as whiny, annoying, and weird, because he's supposedly a grown ass man. So they're talking, and Thomas is like, Mom, no. Oh, wait, hold on. So they're talking about something, and then conversation somehow switched to how old Taylor is, which, honestly, if you ask me, I know she probably not this old, but she looks 65 at this point. I'm sorry, Taylor is not an attractive woman. It is not because I'm saying the actress is ugly. I'm saying it's her personality. Because to me, there are two things that are most important to me when looking for a woman who I find attractive. How attractive you are, how you look is a part of it, but also I like to be with someone who I feel that I can have a normal conversation with, and I don't feel like I'm talking to a 5-year-old. I don't feel like I'm talking to a 5-year-old, and I don't feel that every 10 minutes after we have a conversation, I feel like I'm talking to one of these girls who annoyed me in high school. I would like to talk to someone who also is supposedly a mature, responsible adult human being, and not a 15-year-old, because, I had to talk to a bunch of 15-year-old girls, and boy, was that not fun. Because it was annoying. Most of them. Some of them was not, but most of them was. But so they're like, Thomas, like, you're ancient because I'm old. You're ancient or something. I'm like, I don't. Was that supposed to be a joke? Was that supposed to be comedy? Because if so, that is not good comedy. That's just stating a fact. Taylor is older than Thomas, and Thomas is older. Thomas is like what, 35? Thomas is like what? I mean, Thomas is supposedly 35, but he acts like a 5-year-old sometimes, and then other times he acts like a psychopath. So it's a very hard description to tell what Thomas is. I don't know. He's supposedly a grown man, but he acts like he's 5, and then other times he acts like a psychopath. So they're talking, and Thomas like, "You haven't answered my question yet, Taylor." And Taylor's like, "Yeah, good point." And I'm like, "Yeah, good point, Thomas. She has it." And that's, of course, when I've already said it, she answers it and she says yes. I put that in earlier because I wanted to make sure I got that into this episode. So then the conversation switched back to Thomas and why he should not be mad at him. Thomas was like, "Well, he's my little brother, but we're not that close." Oh, geez, I wonder why, Thomas. Well, let's see. You lied about his niece. You're obsessed with his sister. You called CPS on his mom to break up his mom and dad marriage. You and Steffi have always treated him like he was Brooke's bastard son. You never want to be his friend. You've never been nice to him. You've always treated him like he was Brooke's bastard son, in my opinion. I've seen all the time before. Even when he was played by Adam something last name that starts with a G. We never saw a scene with him and RJ. We always heard about RJ all the time. He was the most talked about character to never appear during those years, but we heard about him a lot. Most of the time, it's just like, oh yeah, RJ's doing this, RJ's doing that, And then with Pierce Ford Thomas, who is the best version of Thomas we've ever gotten, and no one can ever convince me otherwise, because I went back and seen episodes with him in it from 2015 to 2017, 2018. But good Lord, that guy was phenomenal. Except for that beginning of 2015, because it was just weird. It was like never mind, I'll get to that later. But yeah, even Pierce Ford Thomas, that one, him and Thomas did have a much better relationship than him and RJ, but at the same time, it was more so it was like a nice relationship, but it was also because Pierce Ford Thomas was awesome and could do no wrong, in my opinion, no matter what he did. He was just phenomenal, because his whole character was, I really wish my family would respect me and let me do what I want to do without telling me how bad I'm at everything, and I like to be with women. Because he dated a bunch of different women during that time, which I think is a character more people should portray, honestly. It's a character trait that I think should be on here more. You need a guy on this show who just, dates different women, and after a while he finds one woman that he could truly, truly fall in love with. So it could be a nice redemption story for a guy who's always been a playboy, but he eventually finds love. And that could have been Thomas's story. And it should have been Thomas's story when him and Caroline had Douglas, but we all know what happened there. So then RJ is still talking, and Brooke is just apparently so happy to have a son back, because her son, she always talked about how much she missed him. Yeah, she always talked about how much she missed him up until the first time she said, "Oh, I missed my son RJ" was Friday. But before then, the only other time RJ mentioned was like in a throwaway line by Brooke and Widge, like, "Oh yeah, we have that son together. Cool, okay." So they're talking. Apparently, Hope has checked up on him too, I guess. I don't know when she had found time to do that, between a shitty Hope for the Future fashion line, still trying to pretend like she's Douglas's mom, neglecting Beth, and the Thomas obsession for the past 4 years. I'm wondering when she had time to check on RJ. You could have visited him at some point. No one would miss you. But anyways, other than that, RJ is talking. Widge is still trying to convince him to become part of Forrester Creations, which I feel is definitely foreshadowing for RJ wanting eventually joining Forrester Creation, and eventually him and Thomas have some type of rivalry. Because Thomas is not too happy that his little brother is back. So that's and Hope apparently according to Hope, RJ has talked to her about designing. So why did you call him up when Thomas got fired, Hope? See what I mean? That's what I was saying. That's what I've been saying. Eventually, if this happens the way I think it's going to happen, RJ might replace Thomas as head designer for Hope for the Future. Or maybe Hope for the Future will just die out because, well, anybody can make dresses. It can't be that difficult. I mean, you make dresses that people are going to wear like one time a day, like one time and then throw away. How difficult can it be? I mean, I have a bow tie I've only worn one time at my graduation. So I don't think it's that difficult to make clothing. I'm sorry. I don't see this as a very difficult career path. I mean, I don't see this as a very lucrative career path. You make dresses for people. Congratulations, congratulations. It's like Bill says, you're a dressmaker. Thomas Forrester, Thomas is the dressmaker junior, basically, at this point. Or maybe most of the creepy dressmaker. Because, where's the dressmaker? I always love Bill's nickname for everybody. Other than that, there's still. Now I feel like I should probably get to this part, where I'm sure someone in the comments who's a Hope and Thomas fan will go, "Oh, see, even Liam has accepted it. He's accepted his fate, hasn't he? Because now he's gonna try to run back to Steffi." Because they're talking, and apparently Liam tells Steffi, "Well, maybe something changed in Thomas, but it also seemed like something has changed in Hope." Which I guess could only hopefully be set up for tomorrow's episode when he tells Wyatt that. So then hopefully in a few days from now we can get an episode where Wyatt just yells at Hope and goes off on her for what she did to him and their son together. Their son together that I have mentioned, that I will always continue mentioning until that poor kid get the recognition he deserves. Because I feel that kid is the second most screwed over character in B&B history behind Xander. So hopefully that's what he's going to lead there, because I really hope Wyatt gets to go off on Hope before this is all over. Because man, for that to happen would be an amazing scene. Because Wyatt could just finally tell Hope all the horrible stuff she did to him. How she ruined his relationship with his brother at the beginning of it. How she used him in her sick, twisted game with Liam. How their son died and she ran away to Italy for 4 years to immediately come back and get with Liam and never even ask Wyatt how he's doing. Like, why would Wyatt even like Hope at this point? I wouldn't if I was Wyatt. I would hope she would be, loyal to my brother unlike she was to me, but I wouldn't like her. No, I wouldn't. I would just pretend to the whole time until eventually she screwed over my brother, and then I would finally go off on her and be like, guess what? He's not the only guy you screwed over. What about what you did to me? Remember our dead son? How about that? The dead son you basically try to replace with your fake son, Douglas, who was mentioned by Taylor in this episode, because one day Douglas is going to be older. Good Lord, that's going to be horrible. No, you know how they can redeem Douglas? Turn him into Jason Morgan. And what I mean by that is, have him have a concussion. No, have him be in a car accident where he loses his memory of his entire life, and he finds out everything Thomas and Hope did, and he goes, I don't like you, Thomas, anymore, and he changes his last name to Spencer in case you don't bring Caroline back, or you can age up Douglas in this process. I don't know how you would do that right now, but you could age Douglas up to about 15, maybe about 15, 16. I think you could get away with 17. I think you could get away with 16. You could age Douglas up to 16, have him get in a car accident, have him completely lose his memory, and then you could have him learn about all the horrible stuff his father done, and you could have him basically do the same thing Jason did on General Hospital. You could have him change his last name to Spencer and become possibly the greatest redemption story in all of soap opera history. Or you could keep him as this and turn him into Thomas 2.0, which is probably what's going to happen. But I guess getting into what Liam said to Steffi, I guess that something changed in Hope, which I guess the Hope and Thomas fans are going to see as, oh my God, even now Liam's accepted it. Yeah, okay. Sure he has. Yes, because as we all know, Liam Spencer, a guy who gives up. That has never been a character trait of Liam. Even if you don't like him, you cannot say one of his defining character traits is the ability to give up. There's a lot of problems with the character of Liam, but one of the problems with the character of Liam is not the fact that he gives up on literally anything until he thinks that it's over. That's also not a very good character trait to have in general. It's like, sometimes you gotta give up on stuff, Oh, your life is not gonna be good, but that's not time to get here, so all I see this as is Liam finally seeing that maybe Hope has some type of creepy feeling for Thomas. And what if this show would have gone the way I wanted it to? We could have got Liam figuring this out in London or somewhere. London is somewhere where he didn't have to, when he couldn't be around these people and he could clear his mind from all of this. Because Liam really needs to be acknowledged for all the crap he went through, that he was put through by Hope and Steffi. Because no one seemed to want to acknowledge that. Everybody loves to focus on the fact that Liam cheated on Hope and Steffi. But no one seemed to ever acknowledge what they did to him. No one ever seemed to acknowledge the fact that Steffi cheated on him with Bill, and no one seemed to acknowledge the fact that Hope dumped him multiple times before he got with Steffi. She married his brother. She has a son with his brother. She married Thomas's creepy ass. She, she's also done a bunch of other stuff that, oh yeah, she overreacted to the wedding in Italy. She made the entirety of the first engagement all about hope for the future and abstinence, which remember that character trait of hope? Yeah, apparently at one point she believed sex was not good before marriage, which I never understood to begin with. And I was 9, and I was 8 at the, 2011. And I was 9 at the time, and even I didn't, and even I figured that was stupid. And I was 9. So yeah, I guess so. Yeah, people just need to acknowledge what Liam had been put through. And I'm not trying to defend the character of Liam Spencer. Trust me, he has done some horrible things to these women, to Hope and Steffi, and possibly Ivy too. But no one really likes Ivy. The only time you ever like Ivy is at the time. But now Ivy was just annoying, honestly. But nobody really liked her at the time. No, I mean, some people liked her at the time. I always found her to be annoying. Not because she was Australian, just because she always came off to me as everybody's third choice when they couldn't have Hope or Steffi. She kind of was a character. It kind of was her entire character. Also, fun fact, she cheated on what she was with Wyatt, and she cheated on Wyatt with Thomas. So there you go. some more history for Thomas. Granted, it was Pierce for Thomas, so it didn't come off to me as cheating, as more so. Well, yeah, that's just Thomas. Why not? Good for you. Have fun. Also, they are not related. So yeah, other than that, I don't really know what to go with the whole Steffi and Liam's conversation, because maybe some people think that this is leading to Liam and Steffi getting back together, which I don't think will ever happen at this point, and I don't even know if I would want it to happen. Probably not. But I do think Finn is going to cheat on Steffi. But I don't know why some people think no, I'm not even gonna go. Nope, not even gonna go there. Maybe someone else could go there, but I'm not. I'm not saying that. But I just think Finn's gonna cheat on Steffi with somebody at some point. And I mean, Finn has every right to cheat on Steffi. I mean, she cheated on him. It's only fair, Steffi. It's only fair. You can't get mad at Finn for cheating on you due to the fact that you cheated on him. You cheated on him literally the first opportunity you got with Liam, who you also cheated on with his father. Also, you married his brother. She also married Wyatt at some point, but really that was really just a weird, dumb storyline that I think at the time was supposed to show how Liam and Steffi Love could overcome Wyatt, but Hope and Liam couldn't. Because as I've said many times, I was a big Liam and Steffi fan up until 2018. Up until 2018 when she slept with Bill. Because I did not believe it at the time, and I still cannot believe it happened, but it did, and that pretty much ended that fandom. Pretty much ended any chance of Liam and Steffi ever being together, and any chance of Steffi ever being a good character again, because Steffi was actually probably my third favorite character for most of the time I've watched this show. And since 2018, she has been my second least favorite character behind Thomas. Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, they both went from they basically both went from my second and third favorite characters to my two least favorite characters. Although Taylor is making a big run for it right now, because good Lord, she is just pure annoying. Also, now getting back to Taylor, as I, had about 10-minute rant about all the time people have screwed over people that no one seems to acknowledge anymore. All the times Liam has been screwed over by people. By Hope and Steffi, and no one seems to acknowledge it for some reason. So getting back to this episode and no longer off track, I think that the final conversation between Taylor and Thomas really paints Thomas as what I've kind of been saying about him. He's a whiny, annoying little crybaby. Because he had to be convinced by his mommy to go talk to RJ. You always supposedly a grown-ass man. The whole talk about ancient history and you being old and her being old, all led to you having to be convinced by your mommy to go talk to your brother because you wasn't man enough to do it yourself, Thomas? Are you really that horrible of a human being that you could not have the ability to go talk to your own brother? Really, dude? Are you that sick and twisted that you did not have the ability to go talk to your own brother, supposedly? I don't know, that scene really paints Thomas in the light of he has to be convinced by his mommy to go talk to his brother. Really? Really? Like why? Did he not have the ability to go talk to RJ himself? Did he not think it was important to go talk to his brother and maybe go, "Hey RJ, I'm sorry I called the CPS on your mom, but hey, I've changed now." Unless Thomas even know that RJ doesn't like him. I mean, it's not impossible not to, because then Thomas and Taylor do leave, and yeah, she's like, "Come on," he couldn't even open the door for his mom, which, wow, dude, shows how much you love your mom. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't open the door for my mom either, but that's maybe because my mom. That maybe because my mom scares me. That maybe because my mom scares me, and she's the most independent woman I have ever met in my life, and she's probably one of the only few people in my life who have ever legitimately scared me. I love my mom, but she is one scary person when she is mad. So they leave, and RJ and Hope are talking, and we're just still so hardly trying to convince his son. And Hope actually seems happy about the fact that RJ might be a designer. Because I don't even think RJ is going to do anything to manipulate anybody. I just think Hope having RJ here maybe will be Brad Bell, hopefully trying to give a voice to the audience, to the audience of people who have been saying what I've been saying for the last month and a half on YouTube, on these YouTube videos and in the YouTube comments, that Hope and Thomas are not good together because they are the most disgusting non-couple in soap opera history. They would be horrible together for many reasons. And the biggest one is they share a brother, which, I'm sorry people, that's wrong on so many levels. I mean, that would be like